Deters, the Bulldog, with you on 700 WLW. You gotta like it. The Wilburys. She was there in the bar. She heard the guitar. Lynn and Delhi, you're on 700 WLW. Say something witty or wise.
Hey, good evening, Bulldog. Hey, I really like your show. You always have something interesting to say, and you sure don't hesitate to speak your mind. Tell it like it is.
Thank you, thank you.
I listen to you almost every night. Hey, this thing with the tax for the stadium fund. Dusty Rhodes was on just a little after 7 this morning, and he commented on this, and he said that there was plenty of money in the stadium fund, and I think he said the city council or the Hampton County commissioners, they've been raiding this fund. They took money for the bank's projects and other pet projects, and that's why there's not enough money. Do you know anything about that?
I am not. I am not aware of that. But that's what Dusty Rhodes reported?
Yeah.
Did he say anything about any repercussions from it?
Just that, it's typical spend. They blame it on both the Democrats and the Republicans.
Yeah. Well, I can tell you right now, this whole Paul Brown Stadium issue has just been a disaster. I mean, what it cost the county is just terrible. Tony in Atlanta, you're on 700 WLW with a question for Randy.
Well, the question for the chaplain is this. What, in your view, has been your greatest accomplishment as well as your greatest experience as being a chaplain in the armed forces?
That's a good question.
Yeah, Tony, thanks for asking. Being in Iraq, and I mentioned it earlier, and I'll just maybe elaborate on a little bit, but the ramp ceremonies we did for our deceased airmen and soldiers, that experience let me describe it. I'll flesh it out just a little bit more if I may.
Okay.
Some of these formations, you would have like 2 brigades of Army soldiers that would show up. They'd roll in there in their tanks. And you'd have formations 4 deep going a quarter mile or half mile long. And here's a truck with a transfer case, which is what looks like the casket with the flag over it. It's actually called a transfer case. And that truck is slowly moving. And the soldiers are at position of attention until the flag goes by and they render a salute. And I'm slowly walking in front of this casket and I'm saying the 23rd Psalm. I committed that to memory. And I would proceed in front of that casket, and then we would carry it in there and we would do a 3-second salute where it's real slow like, and then back down. And then of course the chaplain had some words and a scripture and a prayer. That experience, first one I did, my boss turned and looked at me and he said, "You're now a veteran."
Yeah.
Think about those words.
That's right.
You are now a veteran.
Right.
Very interesting. Now, one last question for you to wrap it up. When do you feel, at what age do you feel that you were called to come to service as a chaplain in the armed services?
Well, I could talk for a long time on that. I wanted to do it when I was 22 years old. I actually went into the Army as enlisted, but because of a medical condition that I had at the time, I wasn't able to stay in, and so I was crushed. I kind of thought, hey, this is not going to happen. So long story short, and my good buddy Eric, he remembers this man, my Army chaplain friend who came. It was a snowy day, ice and everything else, and Eric and his wife Mary came out to hear my good friend. And he did deliver.
And that was an ice storm, a snowstorm
Yeah.
of grand proportions,
Yes, it
and
was.
we still made it.
And you made it. And we left the light on for you. But I'm telling you, this guy, when he came back into my life, he began to talk to me about this again.
I remember that.
And so this is like, 17 years later. And so there was a second chance for me.
Right.
Well, God bless you for your service. Your story is incredible, and I have nothing but applause and accolades for all of you chaplains out there. People really don't understand the role that you play. You guys really, at the end of the day, are the unsung heroes.
Well, thank you, Tony. Much appreciated.
All right, Tony. Tony's one of the best. Hey, we have to at least comment. Did you get any inspiration from the chaplain from MASH?
Father Mulcahy.
Father Mulcahy, he was a nice guy.
He was a nice guy, but I didn't really draw at least a model from
Right.
Father Mulcahy.
Right.
I have to say, I was kind of the Billy Bob Thornton of the Chaplain Corps in a way.
513-749-7000. 513-749-7000. 1-800 the big one, pound 700 on AT&T. Ron from Miamisburg wants to ask you about dealing with different faiths, which I think is a great question. The Bulldog on the home of the best Bengals coverage with Chaplain Randy McCaffrey from the United States Air Force. 700 WLW.